paying his driver for liability coverage. With this machine I'm blaming, his whole team live panic. Jack froze up and then died. Now you seen Titanic?
Bow to the neck. I mute his audio. Your youngest son, bow to the chest. Reduce his cardio, then bow to take your princess from you. Super Mario,
Basically, I'm coming at him. He's strapped in, I smash in. Both his hands with a hammer. How he gonna use his strapped in?
Hello. Welcome back to the Speaker and Language Show. We have another special guest, man, working out here. I'm trying to get everybody here, everybody on the show. Bad Money, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Just want to tell you, we worked together on Champion of the Year this past year, for the year 2021. You've been, making your rounds and shit like that. So I just want to say I'm proud of everything you're doing.
No, I appreciate that. You're one of the few people that, took me under the wing, gave me advice, gave me tips. So I appreciate that wholeheartedly. YouTube era versus caffeine era. A lot of people, right? I feel like when we came into this caffeine era, right, we didn't know what was going to spawn. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know exactly like how it was going to influence battle rap, right? I remember even before that, we had the URL app, and that was controversial because we didn't even know like what that was going to entail, how that was going to influence, battle rap and how we receive content or whatever. But one thing that we've always talked about was just right the scope and like the coverage of battle rap in general, right? Because YouTube era, everything was on YouTube, so obviously the appeal was a lot like spread out or whatever. But even still, like in this caffeine era, like Drake, has a hand in battle rap with URL or whatever. We get a lot more articles around battle rap now than I think we did before or whatever. I just kind of want to ask you, man, like when you think of the YouTube era for battle rap, what are some of the things you think of back then?
I think of the early YouTube era, as far as like grind time, Lions Den, where I became a fan of a lot of the vets that are, still here prominent today.
Right.
I think of, getting one round at a time.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yo.
I think about that. I think, today we're so spoiled, where battles come and go. We get a new battle dropping every day. We get a new league every 3 hours.
Right.
So it's just a lot of stuff doesn't have staying power the way it used to. Back in that YouTube era, when we was just, first discovering what the culture is to be what it is today, because, we had WRCs, we had Fight Club, we had Scribble Jam,
yeah.
Lyricist Lounge. We had all kinds of, different elements of this, whole thing. But the YouTube era that we're speaking on is when we got it to be the most successful, I think.
Yeah.
And just remember the excitement behind just waiting for the YouTube drops, and when there was no pay-per-views either.
Right. Like before URL was doing pay-per-views, like it was, KOTD that was doing the pay-per-views, right, for the blackouts and stuff like that. I vividly remember, the first battle I'll ever watch in battle rap history, coming in was Arsenal versus Shadi Horror. And I remember the day it dropped or whatever, because it got like a bunch of views the first day it dropped. And I wasn't even a battle rap fan, but I heard so much about it just because of the algorithm and stuff like that. And that's how I stumbled across Shadi Horror versus Arsenal, and still one of the more impactful YouTube's battles on YouTube. And I agree with the round by round, because even when I go back, it's like it's crazy to think that like all you got was like, like a crazy first round, and you had to hold on to that first round to the second round or whatever. So if someone spazzed in that first round, you're like, oh shit, I wonder how the rest of the battle goes. You gotta wait a couple weeks or so before you get to see what happened in the rest of the rounds. One of the battles I think of in that regard is the Young, Ill, and Surf, for sure, because I remember I watched that was the first time I went back and watched like some of the older battles or whatever, And at first I didn't I was still doing my history and I was still doing my research, and I thought that it was a 1-round battle. I thought, oh, they only did 1 round because whatever. I didn't know there was multiple rounds until a couple weeks later, and I was like, wow, so they used to drop it like that, and it was just kind of crazy. But it's funny because I remember back then, right, people's complaints were Smack's intros used to be so long. It used to be 10, 15 yo, I ain't gonna hold you guys, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all trying to watch the battle, but I just want to say, Ciroc sponsoring, you know what I'm saying? He used to talk for 15, 20 minutes or whatever, and then the battle used to be 30 or something like that, but those are some of the members I have in the YouTube era. A lot of people say that YouTube drops are very instrumental in terms of the growth of the artist. Do you agree with that? Because I'm kind of on the fence, because on one hand it's YouTube drops helps in that it creates, it pretty much helps you if you have a fan base, you know what I'm saying, because they have a way to access your battles, you know what I'm saying, and it's free and all that. And on top of that, if you land a major battle against an Arsenal, you know what I'm saying, against a Serve and all that helps in terms of putting your name out there in the YouTube algorithm, and it's accessible to other artists. But there are certain elements of the Caffeine era that I do think kind of propel some of the artists. But how do you feel about the drops for the artists on YouTube?
I think they're definitely necessary. We're in an era, just the key word that you just used, algorithm.
Yeah.
And it's not even just the YouTube algorithm, just the algorithm of the internet within itself. We're in an era now where stuff is hitting the internet going super duper viral. The smallest things are going even more viral than they used to in the past. You're seeing way more TikTokers and YouTubers going viral.
Right.
Now, if we have consistent YouTube drops from, the URL, because other leagues are doing YouTube drops or whatnot.
Even KOTD, but KOTD is kind of their consistency is kind of diminished a little bit too because of the Twitch situation.
Because of the length of time they've taken. Both of the tournaments, and the Twitch situation and the length of time they've taken to drop the battles or whatnot after the tournaments. But I'm mentioning, the era of right now, us being in, the super duper viral era, just of the internet, period, and the algorithm of, which information is received on the, super highway of the internet. If we had certain battles, you know what I'm saying? Because battlers can't even necessarily share their battle clips on their Instagram.
Yeah.
These guys would be bigger stars than they are now, as opposed to just, being stars in this niche of a community.
Yeah.
I always describe it as its own underworld. You understand what I'm saying? The best way I can describe what battle rap culture is to people who don't know exactly what it is or not as in tune, to how sped up, the process of the game is now, is that I describe it as its own underworld. People, such bigger stars outside of this. There would be huger stars on the internet at this point in time if we get some of these up and comers that are on the URL, and having great battles that are just, living my head. So I think the drops are necessary because it makes stars. You got Hitman, you got Goods, you have Averb, you have Disaster, you have Geechee Gotti, you have, just countless names that we can, pull from just prior to, the app era of URL or whatnot, and them taking their battles off of YouTube. And I think URL taking their battles off of YouTube and strictly throwing them on the app kind of hurt, because URL did that not long after they hit 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's a fact. And and it's crazy that you say that, because I felt the best mix between the drops was that 2018 2019 area, because that was when they were doing pay-per-views consistently, so we always had the VODs, right? And then they would do the app drops right after that, and then they would take longer to release the battles, but eventually you would get the battles. Geechee, yeah, because Geechee and Arsenal ended up releasing, but it just took a minute for it to release or whatever. Kind of back then in like 2014, it'll take like 4 or 5 months for them to release the battles. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was like the perfect mix between feeding everybody, right, with them getting a chance to do the pay-per-view stuff, and then having the VOD, and then if you are an app subscriber, you get to see it again on the app, and then if you're like a YouTuber or whatever, you get to see it on YouTube. I thought that was like the perfect like little mix or whatever. But I think in terms of, again, the reception, YouTube drops are just so instrumental, because and then I think of one thing that I appreciated about YouTube back then was that I feel like losses were more felt back then, and the reason why it was more felt was because a battle could happen in, let's say, January, right? And people are saying in the building, "Oh, this guy got smoked," yada yada yada. The battle drops in April, and then what happened is if the person got smoked, then they have to sit with that loss for a while, because you got to think people wasn't battling that much, right? If you had a battle in January, you might not battle until, especially if you get smoked, you might not battle until next year.
Yeah.
And then your next battle may come out next January. I mean, maybe on next January, but that battle won't come out till next April. So losses used to really sit on people.
Yeah.
Like when Ill Will lost the DNA, that sat with him for a while. Like that sat with him for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Just the situation with Born and Calico, like that sat with him for a while or whatever. Like losses used to mean something, because that's the last thing they saw on YouTube was like that last loss, and you wasn't getting the opportunity to redeem yourself for another year or so.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, it was easier, for these guys to be discoverable. When we had the YouTube drops, you got to think, Ill Will versus DNA is some people's introduction to battle.
Yeah,
it's just a battle that some people watch because it just came up in their recommendations on YouTube somewhere. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of like you got to be put on to a degree. That's why I said, to a degree, URL hitting 1 million subscribers and then sticking to strictly app-only content in a way hurt the culture, because this is the biggest league. You know what I mean? They're doing the most events. They're putting on the biggest matches. And what the other leagues aren't doing, I say, think of over like the last 2, maybe 3 years, man. Mm-hmm. Only one grudge match was put on outside of URL, and that was Hitman versus Calico. How many other grudge matches have we seen get put on KOTD, RBE?
Yeah, that's a fact. And the only other one you can name in the last couple years, and it's on Bullpen, and that's Ace and John. But even still, that's a rare occurrence, though. That's a rare occurrence. You'll get that type of grudge match on like a league. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. That's
even Battle Academy got Bill versus Rex, and Rex
right.
Versus...
Yeah. So yeah. No, it's crazy when you put it in that perspective. I made a video about like top 50 battles that deserve to be on YouTube, and it's crazy because I gave 50 battles, but there's probably more than that deserve to be on YouTube. That's the crazy part. I did a whole ranking system.
On my Caffeine, when was that? Sunday. I was naming stuff you didn't have on the list because I watched that. You know what I'm saying? So let's plug, if y'all watching this, after you watch this, you got to go watch that top 50. I
appreciate that. Prime example, I interviewed Chilla, right? He said that like he had one of the best Champion of the Year runs. But he may not benefit. He may not have the same benefits because when Geechee did his Champion of the Year run in 2019, 2018, it was on YouTube, so everybody could see it. Right. Imagine Chilla having having a goodie with Rum Nitty, a goodie with Twerk, a goodie with Real Sick, a goodie with who else? Jerry West, and then like having a really dominant win over K-Shine. If that goes on YouTube, the whole perception of what people think of Chilla changes tremendously. So, and it's crazy to when you really think about it, because there's people that are literally solidified through YouTube. That's the Hitmans, that's the Arsenal, that's the Surfs, the Rexes, and all those guys. But then there's a whole nother generation of people who all their content lives on the app. Like you got a couple of people who like had the luxury of getting a couple battles before the app, the Geechees, the Twerks, the Losos, and stuff like that. But then you have like people who finally hit like their kind of stride, the Jerry Wesses, Holmesy, Fonz, and stuff like that. People that are hitting their strides, but it's all on the app. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of crazy, like, so. But yeah, I do agree with like in terms of like the growth, right? Like I feel like a lot of people's like reach would be a lot higher if it was dropped on YouTube, for sure. What are other things you think about when it comes to the YouTube era? Another thing I think about is the views.
I got more views than all these niggas put together. I got more views than all these niggas put together. 100% fact.
Listen, you are the star.
Yeah, I mean, it's a marketing and a negotiating tactic.
Facts. Because what are they going to go off now? Like, you know, we don't really have a concrete number for caffeine streams, and we don't really have a number for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the reactions is kind of ad hoc because it's like a person can hit the button as many times as they want. You know what I'm saying? Or like,
no, they can only do it 30 times.
But even still, but that's still kind of crazy though. Like, that's still kind of crazy though. But you know what I'm saying? But like, views used to be a huge thing, like a huge thing. And then getting 1 million views was a milestone for people. You know what I'm saying? And now like the milestone is like, if someone, I don't know, like if someone like just have a great app record, which I'm not diminishing the app records or whatever, but I'm saying like back then the milestones was like, if you had 1 million views, that was like a badge of honor. That means you like
it was a platinum plaque. That's the best way to describe it. It's like getting a platinum album, you know what I'm saying, or a platinum single.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, that like
I was just saying this to somebody, but boom. Remember Surf and Reed Face Off?
Yes.
Surf is sitting there eating the Lay's.
Yes.
Where's that Face Off living at?
Right.
Surf will probably have a Lay's or Rap Snacks deal right now if that was me.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Nah, and then I was saying that like look like a battle like Geechee and Rum Nitty where they split $150,000
with Drake
is not on YouTube. Not on YouTube. Like,
you would think that would at least have hit the YouTube stream.
Right, like either that battle, you know, Easy and Chess. No, a battle that I really think needs to be on YouTube, should have been on YouTube, and like I wouldn't say it missed its mark, but it would have been very impactful if it had it got released as soon as it happened. B-Dot and Saga most definitely. Yeah. That, like, it just off of impact alone and like the circumstances of which the battle happened, and obviously the outside stuff, right, with the police brutality and stuff like that, like that deserved to be on YouTube because like that transcends battle rap.
It happened just and that was like right when, you know, I can't say the word hit. You know what I mean? In 2020. You know what I mean? But when that happened, that could have been like, it could have had the same type of impact maybe Lil Baby's The Bigger Picture had. You know what I mean? When he dropped that, look how that shook up the entire hip hop culture. Something like that, you know what I'm saying? The conversation and the dialogue between B-Dot and Saga at that point in time hitting the world. Come on, man. Like, discoverability. I don't even know if that's a word. You know what I mean? Use it today, but discoverability. You know what I'm saying? You never know what brands, you know, can jump behind that, you know, what some of these guys are doing if they can discover them a little bit quicker. Because, I mean, Saga's still battling on other leagues. He does have an Adidas sponsorship, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. But come on, man. Surf had Nikes, you know what I'm saying? Nike Dunks, you know what I'm saying, for his basketball team. I want to see everybody get some type of branded deal. I wouldn't mind seeing the Easy to Block Captain Rap Snack. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But you gotta be able to discover these guys. Easy has been very vocal in saying that he think Easy and Chess should have dropped on YouTube the week the Fresh Prince trailer dropped.
That would have been fire. That would have been fire. And it's crazy because like the two major battles that dropped as of late in the past couple years was Mook and Tay-Rock, Geechee, Geechee and then K-Shine and Hollow, which was like a weird like drop. Like I was not expecting that.
And Geechee and Surf just dropped what, like last year?
Geechee and Surf?
That's on YouTube. Yeah,
it's on YouTube. It might have. I think it dropped the same year, damn near. Because I feel like 2019 was when they was actually flooding the streets. That was like their last.
Dropped in 2019. I'm gonna check. I feel like
that was their last hoorah though. 2019 was because they released all the double impact battles relatively quick than they usually do. You know what I'm saying? So,
versus Surf dropped 2 years ago.
Okay, so it might have happened like late 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. But I remember. I specifically remember all the double impact battles getting dropped in a relatively quick fashion because that was like the last like huge URL event of like 2019, which 2019 is one of the best. You know what I'm saying?
Smack Madness.
Yeah. Which I don't know why it went away, because it's like I feel like Smack Madness was such a great trademark. You were like you know how many views you would get if you drop like let's say have like 4 drops of the 4 weeks of December. Like, you know how many views you can get just off of those 4 battles or whatever, and then you could do like a little crowd a crowd engagement where like people vote for what battles they want to drop on YouTube. That's like, that would have been incredible. You know what I'm saying? But
it's
yeah,
just all kind of ways that we're missing out on getting newer fans. You know what I'm saying? And I think you can expand this thing by making the fans more involved as well.
Yeah.
You know, through exactly like what you just said about voting, like, you know, what should drop next. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah.
Like, come on, man. If Daylight vs. Rock drops on YouTube, like, bro, like that's 1 million views in a week, at least.
Yes, at least. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I think of when it comes to YouTube era, I feel like on camera is a term, is a matter of terminology that can be used today still, but it was more prominent back then because people used to actually sit on battles and actually like used to watch it multiple times. Like now we get so many battles to where like we probably watch a battle a couple of times and on to the next joint. Back then it was like you could legitimately win the battle in the building and lose on camera because somebody like because you watch it back or whatever. Prime example, Surf and Hollow. What's another battle? B Magic and Ill Will. Even though I have Ill Will winning, a lot of people say B Magic won on the playback. You know what I'm saying? And now I feel like you kind of get the aspect if it's like an exclusive URL event. You know what I'm saying? But not that many people are going back and watching battles like all the time because we got so many of them. Back then, it was a thing to really sit and like really sit with the battles. And I feel like people digested the battles for what it was way better back then than now. Like you got people forgetting, you know what I'm saying, headliners of certain cards because there's 3 or 5 other cards after that. Last year, I guarantee you, if we were to ask some of the Caffeine fans all the cards, URL cards that happened last year, they would probably miss at least 3 or 4 because it was so many. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's another thing too. I think back then, right, everything was like a slow roast. Everything was, you know what I'm saying, you were able to digest all that was going on or whatever. And it gave you a chance to. And also like when we determined a winner, that could have been 2-3 months down the line. Now it's just like if you it's very hard for you to win like live on Caffeine and then lose on the app. Like unless it's like an overtly like different type of like something, a controversy happens or somebody finds out some inside information or whatever. But for the most part, if you win on Caffeine, the likelihood of you winning when the battle drop on the app is pretty high or whatever. Whereas back then, I feel like the dynamic.
There's been some differences, you know what I'm saying, for sure, with like the Caffeine vote and like how some people voted on a couple battles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's definitely been some discrepancies. I mean, people had Swamp beating T-Top
live. That was crazy.
You know what I mean? So you got to look at it just from all aspects of things, man. Just so much would be different, you know, if again, if shit was just different, if we had URL like just dropping battles here and there like they did Smack Madness, like
right,
that's gonna open up the door to so many new fans, you know, that are going to be just introduced. You know what I mean? At this point in time, we have eras of fans. You can tell like by how a person debates when they started watching, you know what I'm saying, based off of certain things they say when they debate and they can't answer certain questions. So you have eras of fans. We like the purists that came in, you know, from 2009 and behind, you know what I'm saying? Then you got 2014 to now. Then you got the 2018, you know, the 2022s. And then you got the 2020s to 2022s. But there are some people who I've actually, you know, conversed with that became fans in 2020. They know their shit. They know their history. Like they've gone back and watched stuff and I can ask them something about, yo, who won this battle? And they can tell me, you know what I'm saying, round for round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, nah, for sure. Because I didn't even know what Caffeine was before battle rap, honestly. I didn't even know that was a thing. I heard of Twitch. I did hear of Twitch. I've never heard of Caffeine before, like the battle rap or whatever. So
I heard
there's
it
that.
shortly before URL did the partnership with them.
Okay.
Actually, because YouTube has changed so much. I really came into just doing anything involving, talking about battle rap around the time where YouTube changed so much of their regulations and rules and their requirements.
Oh yeah.
So they changed so much or whatnot. And shortly before the merger of URL and Caffeine, I got sent a YouTube video basically saying Caffeine might be the best route for some YouTube creators because you can take your fan base over there. You have a lot more freedom to do a lot of things you can't do on YouTube and stuff like that. But they were saying more so it's for YouTube channels that have a fan base on it. But it's so hard to get people to cross platforms. They're saying you and I know this as far as just even social media. It's hard to get the same people that follow you on Twitter to follow you on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Facebook, shit like that. You know what I mean? So, I have a ton of, Twitter followers, but not everybody that follows me on Twitter follows my Caffeine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So not everybody that, follows URL, on YouTube, out of the 1 million subscribers, they might not be, purists, you know what I'm saying? Or as France would call it, France and Vlad, because I heard saying that battle rap degenerates, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? I might be subscribed to the URL channel, but I'm subscribed to a bunch of other channels on YouTube. I'm just speaking like it's just, the casuals. Yeah. But I'm subscribed to a bunch of different channels on YouTube. I don't know, what URL is doing. They haven't been dropping no videos. I don't know.
They drop trailers and they might give you a little bit of a VOD trailer of all that happened or whatever, but nah, nothing much.
That's about it. And it's telling you to get the app and to go on marketing.
Right. Yeah. But we talked a lot about the YouTube era or whatever, but I do want to say for the Caffeine era in terms of the positives, right? I do think that battlers getting the opportunity to gross more money is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Getting the opportunity to interact with their fan base, you know what I'm saying, is great. The fact is, even though it's not as much structure as we like, there is a little bit more structure than we had before in terms of a decisive winner, you know what I'm saying, with the Caffeine voting, either with the voting on the app and stuff like that. There's a little bit of structure in that regard. The fact that, battlers and media can kind of there's not that much of a distance between the two, even though some people say it was great. It was better when there was a distance between battlers and media. I still think that we're all a community. So us treating it like a community with the Caffeine setting is amazing. And then just the interactivity, right? Just having the opportunity to talk with one of your favorite battlers, to talk with one of your, which again is also hit or miss for some people. Some people feel like it was better when there was a distinct plateau that separated the fans and the performers, whatever. But I still think it's a cool idea for a fan to have a chance to reach out or speak to their favorite blogger, their favorite battler or whatever. Those are some things that I do appreciate about Caffeine, and the fact that I'm saying the digital currency with the props and stuff like that is a pretty cool concept. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but those are the things I appreciate. And obviously, free battles. You can't really beat free battles. I know we complain, but you can't be too good for free battles. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
How do you go back from free? Personally,
right.
As a content creator, the interactive aspect is what drew me to Caffeine to want to go on there and create myself. So I can only imagine from the artist aspect, how they feel. I like to get on Caffeine and see Vixen talking about battle rap and cooking and stuff like that. And I like to see Casey J giving us drink recipes and stuff like that. I like to see Misfit pull up and, give her dumb advice. John is consistently on Caffeine. Easy's consistently on Caffeine, doing bar breakdowns, recaps, watching battles with us and stuff like that. That gets you to know the artist on a deeper level. And prior to artists doing that on Caffeine, the big thing we complain about is promotion. You know what I'm saying? Visibility. Why are battlers not blogging and stuff like that and keeping themselves hot? If you look at things, a lot of the battlers that are, doing Caffeine shows and stuff like that, they still keeping their name hot and stuff like that, and they're continuing to get booked. You know what I mean? So just visibility. Even Goods, has consistency, with him doing stuff on Caffeine. So, you know, I think caffeine is definitely brought in a bigger bag. Everybody seems happier.
Yeah, everybody seems,
you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Back then, if you lost the battle, you was like, nah, you can lose a battle now. Not to say it don't sting, but it don't sting as much. You like,
yeah, I mean,
at least I got
them adjusting to our environments. I'm saying, which I don't think people give enough credit to the value an environment holds within a battle, and how important it is. It was a little bit shaky at first, you know what I'm saying, with them having to understand what our environment is, what, you know what I'm saying, the essence of this is what you should see on the optics, you know, when you're a viewer. Once they got that right, you know what I mean, and started getting the camera angles right, I think things have improved. You understand what I'm saying? So there have been plenty of pros to the caffeine era. I mean, battlers are getting paid just to sit here and talk to us as well, you know what I'm saying, through caffeine, you know what I mean? And everybody is getting more money. The problem is, it's not none of our business. I don't necessarily worry about the business aspect of who's negotiating what contract-wise, whether it be league, battler, whatever. We don't know how long the caffeine URL thing is gonna last. So how do you go back from free? Right. Go back to pay-per-views?
Which diehard fans won't have a problem doing that, but at the same time, for a casual, that's like, come on, man, like $50 for $60 for, you know. So yeah,
we're going to do it. We're going to do it 2-3 times a month because you know, we're the purists.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. I am very curious as to where it goes from here. You know what I'm saying? There's been rumors about the whole Netflix situation and all that or whatever, but I will say though, is just like the interactivity is something that, you know, I feel like the fans and battlers alike appreciate. Some people do, you know what I'm saying? So
we've seen battlers' faces on ESPN, you know, like between fights and stuff like that, and you know what I mean, like at the bottom of the screen, you know, before games and stuff like that. So that's brilliant to see. But I want to see Easy to Block Captain versus Sue Surf promo at the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? At the bottom of the screen at some point in time. Or if I go to the movies to see the new Marvel movie, it'd be dope to see
a URL trailer
for Summer Madness 35.
Right. That would
you know
be
what
crazy.
I mean? Just little things, you know, that I think we got to just improve on, you know what I'm saying, and work on as far as like the marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, so there are pros and cons to the caffeine era of battle rap, you know what I'm saying? And you just can't say it's the caffeine era for URL because URL going to caffeine affected the entire culture.
Facts. Well, we're about to take a little small intermission. When we come back, we are going to do a surprise segment, which the reason why it's surprise is I want to get our organic reactions to this question. We are going to choose top 5 battles in the YouTube era and top 5 battles in the caffeine era. So the YouTube era is from 2009 and we'll cut it off around 2019, which is a huge thing to choose from. And obviously the caffeine era is 2020 to now. So when we come back, we'll give you our top 5 battles in each era. So watch this clip really quick. This will be a small clip of some of the best moments in the YouTube era.
Stop me outside. I don't expect y'all to feel this, but when my niggas see this shit, he gonna say Hoffa's the realest. So Mook and Lux, they could battle for the spot of the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas, and I don't rock with you niggas.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you think you're the sickest kid in your squad. You're a coward with the fucking voice of Nicki Minaj. Because the part of your mouth that's missing is only a reflection of what's scarring you mentally. So the gap between your teeth exists merely as an object of imagery to distract you from the real gap between us, and that's bars and delivery.
Stop telling people that the mob is your crew. Because when the mob fuck niggas up, them niggas that they fuck up, they only know you. So niggas stop getting on camera saying you popping them guns. Hey, Big Gerald. Yes, sir. That's the way you talk to your son.
Sister at the dinner table, they mourning them, they loving them. You go in there to comfort them, you kissing them, hugging them. I bust through the door and yell, oh, with nothing but boots and drawers on to give them a little water. I hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Buttons till I point, then the release gon' have my arm jerking like I'm trying to change the channel when the remote not working.
Like a pantomime. You on his team and plan to shine, you probably stab his spine. You watch who you stand in front of. You watch who you stand behind.
Big T fingers after lunch. Do them greasy. Before the shot, T-shirt. After the shot, Yeezy. Before the cut, Shumper. After the cut, Beasley. I don't play like that. I don't play like that. No. Because it was looking like a VA, and now it's straight like that. It's time to eat. I'ma go noodles like a college student. Yo, street, I'ma end that. I'll wave it in public. All hell raises. Them the 12 gauges. Them the shell cases.
Welcome back to the Speaker on Language show, and now we are in my favorite part. Y'all know I love lists. That's primarily my channel is lists. Top 5 battles in the caffeine era, top 5 battles in the YouTube era. Bad Money, give me your top 5 battles in the YouTube era, then I'll go next.
Let's say Shotty Horror versus Arsenal.
Fire battle, one of the first battles I seen on YouTube.
I didn't even know battle rap was a thing like it is overseas until I saw ours from Shotty. Sidebar, Shotty Horror is really, really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have trouble getting past his accent, but the way he put words together, that guy's really good.
His cadences, you know what I'm saying? Just like the rhyming, one of the better rappers in battle rap for sure.
Hold It Down versus Low Deluxe.
One of the best battles to not happen on URL. Facts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know what direction you might go in, so I'm kind of like, I'm saying, thinking a little bit outside the box. Conceited versus Arsenal.
Grind time classic. And fun fact, that's a lot of people's that's also a lot of people's for the earlier battle rap fans, it's a lot of people's first battle that they've seen for sure.
I want to say Hitman Holla versus John Jonathan. Because of what it did. It really bridged the gap between the old era and the new era. And, pretty much solidified what we see today happening in battle rap, you know what I'm saying? Like bringing
shots.
Giving the newer guys a shot, you know what I'm saying? And bringing them up to the big stage. What's that? 4, right?
Yeah, I think that was 4.
AC Chilla.
I like that. All right, so I'm gonna pivot off you. I'm gonna try not to say what you already done said, but JC and Chilla is one of the best, if not the best, small room battle of all time. So, yeah, good 5. And I feel like those battles encapsulates what the YouTube era was. I'm gonna go with Hitman and Surf, just because that was a generation versus generation type battle. Well, I wouldn't say generation versus generation, but that defined it.
In the same generation, two guys in the same generation collide. That was a collision course pretty much their whole careers to that moment.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Both of them had viral rounds, whether it's Surf's third or Hitman's first. World Star general. So Hitman and Surf. I'm gonna go with DNA versus Disaster, one of my favorite battles of all time. I said that Shotty Horror and Arch was the first battle I ever seen, but the battle that got me hooked to battle rap was DNA and Disaster. Just seeing the Disaster's first round, I was like, yo, he is going crazy. And then you gotta think, I'm a young kid. I'm like, yo, this guy with a missing tooth is actually kind of fire. You know what I'm saying?
Drake in the middle.
Right, you got Drake in the middle that was around Take Care, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is kind of crazy. And then, DNA had that third where he says, now say it again. That's what I thought. And I was like, oh my God. That was crazy.
Also the storyline behind that battle within itself,
Right.
And calling each other out in separate battles and being in the same venues and having friction and stuff like that, and how long it took to finally get that battle booked. And then it happened in Canada, you know what I'm saying, with the biggest star in American music.
Facts.
North American music, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? But our music, we know the guys standing right there, you know what I'm saying? And probably the prime of his career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Think of his prime, yeah. Yeah, and then again, like you mentioned, the call outs, like, you know, Disaster in the Swave battle, put DNA in the box like a paternity test. Like, God. And like you know, like the buildups, right? Like I know people say like you don't need a story to have a good battle, but back then, like the build up into the battle was just as important as the battle itself. Like,
you know, we don't get in the trailers anymore. We don't get the build up in the trailers no more. We don't get.
They recycle trailers. If we gonna get mad at battlers recycling, we got to get mad at recycled trailers. They kind of use the same clips of the
like
same.
How many times people have called each other out in separate like battles and stuff like that, and interview clips and stuff like that. We don't get that within the trailer no more. There was more of a storyline, you know, to lead into so many different battles and different events. You know what I mean? Back in the day, we don't get that.
Like the Arsenal and Hitman Holla trailer, the K Shine and Averb with the Total Slaughter stuff. Like, yeah, man. The build-ups back then used to be kind of crazy. The K Shine and Surf. Come on, man. Like, yeah.
Traction.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Memory lane. I'm there. Averb and Hitman, obviously, because come on now, like that's you talk about World Star. That third round is just monumental. And Lux and Cal, obviously, and then my last one. You know what? I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do something because I think people forget how impactful it was when it first came out. I'm going with Disaster versus Cannabis. I feel like that battle was huge. That battle was so like people forget that Disaster in 2012 and 2011 was that dude. Like I know now he gets a bad rap for, you know what I'm saying, like the extra freestyle and having like 30-minute rounds, you know, and all that. But
3 pages of rounds,
bro. That's one of the craziest battle rap moments in history.
It's not even so much. If you notice, everything we named, it was competitive back and forth. It was fights. This is the only battle that's on this list that wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But it's more so the impact, the structure of Disaster's attack, and just pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like what it signified. You know what I'm saying, between battle rap and the industry, and just that shit was everywhere, bro.
And I think it finally solidified that whole thing between, you know what I'm saying, can industry rappers do what battle rappers do? I wouldn't say it solidified it, but there's always been this talk, right? Because like, you know, battle rappers want to be, well, that's the narrative. Battle rappers want to be industry rappers. Industry rappers feel like they're like above like battle rappers, and they come into this game and they realize very quickly that, you know what I'm saying, it's a different type of fight. But yeah, man, Disaster and Cannabis was so, and now people really don't understand the value of that battle. That was a huge battle, and I know people may think that like, yo, why would, you know, the Cannabis battle mean so much to Disaster's career? Is because he was one of the first, like in modern day battle rap, he's one of the first battlers to take on such a heavy industry battler presence and show the world that like this is what we do. Like y'all can't come in here and think y'all just gonna run it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, Cannabis was the battle rapper. You know what I'm saying, for the industry. If this
on wax, 100%.
On wax, ciphers, anything like Cannabis, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to defining battle rapper in the hip hop industry, Cannabis name goes at the front of that dictionary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. All right, now this may be easier because it's a smaller time frame, which I kind of think we got through the YouTube era pretty easy. Maybe it's because, you know, there's certain moments that really connect with us. But in the Caffeine era, right? So that's 2020. You know what I'm saying? April of 2020, right? Because we have to be specific because there's still a little bit of time in 2020 where we weren't on caffeine yet. But April of 2020 until now.
So
what are your
July,
5?
You know what I'm saying? We don't know when people, you know what I'm saying, people be watching this a year from now. This is July 2022.
Right.
Rock. I'm gonna say Rock versus Twerk. B-Dot versus Saga. Vixen versus Flames.
Thank you. Give the ladies some shine. That was a great back and forth between the ladies. That's one of the first like caffeine, lady like class, like borderline classics that you would get for sure. Like that pick.
Yeah, like if you weren't a fan of female battle rap before that particular battle, and you were introduced to female battle rap through that battle on Caffeine, you became a fan of it.
Right.
Like immediately watching that one. Say Rock vs. Twerk, Fist and Flames. I'm gonna say Sick and Chiller. I'm gonna go with Sick and Chiller.
I like that. Why Sick and Chiller though? Is it because it's like one of the best rookies versus vets battles of all time?
Yeah, definitely 100,000% because it's hard to call a winner either way.
Facts.
And just the whole way that shit looks on the optics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Period. Just from the way it was shot, just bunched up in a small room, black and white. You know what I'm saying? Super vet, Chilla Jones, upcoming. You know what I mean?
Hungry upcoming. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just the position that both of them were in. That was during Chilla's Champion of the Year run, and this is part of Sid's run where he built his fan base.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that was 4. I think you got one more.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here. Let's say Rock versus Geechee.
Rock versus Geechee.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Rock versus Geechee, man.
Was that? I think that was 2019 though. I think.
But it's on the app.
True. I'll let it. I'm about to say I'll let it rock. Yeah, for sure. Nah, that needs to be. But that, come on, man. Like that first round from Geechee. Come on now. Like even just the names alone. Like, come on.
I was there, man. I was standing right there.
You felt the stage shake.
Yeah. But for both of them though, that battle was just crazy within itself. You know what I'm saying? Minus T-Top coming out in Tay-Rock's third. Yeah. That was just crazy within itself, man. Especially that first round between both of them, just the competitiveness. Again, I was in the booth for that, and even just watching it back on camp, like Rock is going insane. You know what I'm saying? Losing his mind. And Geechee has you sitting there like, I don't remember nothing Tay-Rock said.
Right.
Tay-Rock goes again, and then you start
second.
Everything he said in the first, and you still paying attention to the second. So
yeah,
man, I'm gonna go there. That's my 5.
Okay, so the object is not to say the same battles. Let's see where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say Easy the Block Captain versus Fonz. I'm gonna say that one. I was on the fence. It was either that or Jada Nightwing versus Sick, because I feel like those battles are actually close. Like I sometimes I prefer Jada Nightwing versus Sick, but Easy and Fonz, I feel like just where they are now, and then like what Fonz was able to do with the Lou Castro battle, and what Easy was able to do in general, like their names are pretty high right now. So I gotta go
before Geechee versus Nitty. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's up there. I had Fonz and Easy as like the greatest Ultimate Madness battle.
That's a fact.
All time.
It's most definitely one of.
It's like 1A and 1B. I don't think you can go wrong with either of those.
Give me K-Shine and Lou Castro, Ab and Fonz. Chess versus Easy. And then you know what? Since you picked like a real Sick and Chilla Jones type battle, give me Twerk and Danny. Give me Twerk and Danny. I like Twerk. I think Twerk and Danny is one of the more underrated battles of both of their careers. Yeah. I know it happened at a weird time period because I
don't even know how that didn't pop in my mind either. That's an underrated battle. I don't think people talk enough about that.
I'll probably go with Geechee and Chess, because I feel like Geechee and Chess was such a huge, like that's what solidified the app damn near. Like it was like you had like the Twerk and Nitty was the first battle on the app. Then you got like the Volume 4 battles or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was bubbling. You get some of the band battles, but like that first like app classic that lived on that, like literally lived on the app and was exclusive battle was Chess and Geechee. Like that set the movement for real. I remember when that first dropped and I couldn't stop watching it.
You forgot the most important battle though. Rock and Daylight.
Yeah, Rock and Daylight. But I wanted to kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, step away from.
Yeah, but rocking daylight, that goes without saying.
Honorable mention, even though this falls in the cannabis disaster lane a little bit, no disrespect, but just more so along the lines of a dominant performance. You know what I'm saying? Some people might say one round of this battle was a fight. You know what I'm saying? Which would be the second. Just how huge of an impact this performance had. But say Surfing Josh.
You know what? I feel like you know what? You know
I'm
what's
thinking
funny?
in terms of value.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I front.
Both parts of this.
I could have sworn that Surfing John was going to be on YouTube before K-Shine and Hollow was. I could have sworn that Surfing John was going to be on YouTube, but I'm like, this is Surf we're talking about. But that was a huge battle. Yeah, man. Well, man, that's all I got, bro. I appreciate you doing the show with me or whatever, going down memory lane, talking about, you know what I'm saying, YouTube era, caffeine era. Regardless of what happens, we're still going to love battle rap. We're still going to watch it, so it don't even matter, like, 100%. What platform or anything that's going to be on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but we're going to do more collaborative efforts. We're going to chop it up a little bit more. We're going to do a lot more work together. I appreciate you as always.
It's coming. Plenty of collabs. First of many. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna see him do stuff with me as well. You know what I'm saying? Pop up where I'm at. So you know, just appreciate, you know what I mean, the time and all that. And anybody watching, you know, back early tonight, Caffeine.
Yeah. I'm about to say.
Follow him Land on Caffeine. And if you're watching this, you're not subscribed to him Land on YouTube, what are you doing?
Yeah, nah. Appreciate that. All right, but speaking our language show, and we're out. Thank you.